Can you see me okay, Troy?
Yeah, I see you.
All right. Yeah, I don't have my computer with me, so I've got to hold my phone. Well, I think going off of what was just talked about, those are some great stories. And what you said, Troy, is so true, that the stories have actually built our business. This isn't, it's not about hyping anything up. It's not about, it's about real stories, true transformational stories, and predictable transformation. Anybody can do it. And I loved hearing, I got on a little bit late, but excuse me, but I was able to hear Cheyenne's story of, of her success and becoming a health coach. So congratulations. And I think it's just wonderful that we have so many new coaches coming in to Take Shape for Life right now. And there's a reason why more people are sponsoring new coaches than other people. There is a reason for that. And I wanted to kind of go over that tonight. And most of that reason is a lot of coaches are not using third-party credibility. They're not utilizing the Zoom client story calls. They're not utilizing, what they should be utilizing to help them grow their business. So I love what, excuse me, I love what Caroline said about staying connected. And that really is a true thing, that if you want, it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination, because once we get to the destination, if we decide to go off track a little bit, it's very easy to do. I always compare it to church for myself anyway. If I'm not doing things that I feel like I should be doing, then I start going a different direction. It's the same thing with our health, staying connected to the community. It's the same thing with health coaching, staying connected to not only your health coach, but to their health coach and to their health coach, and staying in that community is so critical, and embracing the obstacles that come along the way. I think one of the things I love about just talking about obstacles for a second, one thing I love is when I get somebody on the phone that has some obstacles in their life, I love to help paint a picture of what's possible for them in the future. So lead from the future, act in the now, but looking at the future of what could be in their life, and them not really knowing, them looking at the obstacles kind of right there and thinking, I don't know if I can do this because it's right there. And really the obstacle is the way, because when you overcome obstacles, you now have a story to tell. You can now help other people overcome obstacles. So it really is, the obstacle is the way. I mean, it's the things we go through that actually strengthen us in the long run. Wouldn't you say, Troy?
Yeah, I think so. Just to put a point to that, I came in with really no weight loss. Okay. So as I came in as a coach, I looked at it in a different set of eyes. And what's interesting about that is that I've been doing some practice partner calls with a couple different coaches lately that have had people on that they don't need to lose weight. And that's a great part, because, we bring in that wellness evaluation. We're able to really understand with individuals that we're not just looking with our eyes on just people that are overweight. And I think when we do that, I think we leave a lot of people out there that might want to create maybe a healthier mind or maybe a healthier finance. So if we kind of look at that and think about, how many other people are out there that might want more of what we have. And so, just like what Brian said, you think about the obstacles the way. Well, I had a pretty big obstacle, because in reality, how can I talk to people? I mean, I didn't have a story, right? So really what I found was that, you making it about what they're looking for, what they're wanting to create. That's why the wellness evaluation right now, to me, over the last probably 3 or 4 months, has been really powerful, because I can really hit with individuals that you would probably, it might take you hours to figure out an individual of what they're really looking for, and with different questions. Well, now it's a duplicatable process, and you can really utilize that tool. And along with that, with brand new coaches coming in, they can really have that process that's already been there, and they're able to use that as you mentor them through that process.
Yeah, Troy, I mean, you're so right. And that wellness evaluation helps us locate, different areas in their life that they're struggling with. I love getting on calls with people and really learning a little bit about them. Because remember, we want to learn about them before we say anything about the how or the what. We got to figure out the why. And I love asking them questions about themselves. And then what I love is actually, and I use this multiple times, and I think I'll just continue using this because it's so powerful. It's like, if I could wave a magic wand over your head and poof, there you are a year from now, what would you be doing if money or time was not an obstacle? If you had money and had time to do the things you want to do, what are some of the things you would enjoy doing? And what I find is interesting is, sometimes we focus, especially as a new coach, we focus on people's health. We focus more on, oh, that person needs to lose weight. And like you said, Troy, it wasn't a weight thing for you. But we know that 70% of the people in America are overweight or obese. We probably, if you dialed it in, probably more like 90% are not eating right, not doing the right things like that. But if you look at the financial problems in this country, and then you look at the people that even have finances but don't have time to enjoy them, don't have a time to enjoy what they're making, what they're actually, you're building a nice income for themselves, but they don't have the time because they're too busy building the income. So, if you look at people that actually have time and money and, are doing the things they want to do in life, in America, that's probably 1% of the population. You've got about 99% of the population versus 70% of the population that are lacking in that area of finances. So, it's really looking at it through a different set of eyes. And so what I love doing is asking the question, if time and money were not, a concern, if you had all the time and money, this is after, of course, I've asked them about themselves. If time and money were not a concern, what would you be doing? And it's kind of interesting because people open up and they start to dream again a little bit. It's fun to get that out of them because, and in most cases, these people that I've talked to haven't dreamt in years or in decades. Like they haven't even thought about it. Like, because they're so much into the rat race of life that they haven't even sat down and thought about what it is they truly want. And so I just love it. Now, the other thing too, I want to tell you is these the client story calls. Now, Troy's talking about the practice partner calls. Those are very important too, especially with new coaches. And those new coaches that utilize their coach for those calls are going to have more success than the ones that don't. We know that to be a fact.
Yeah, no, I think so, Brian. I think that you're kind of looking at. Again, you kind of look at individuals as you meet people, and my biggest kind of I think it was like a year back, maybe a year ago at convention. I did one of the classes on Facebook, and what I really took away from that is that I didn't connect with people right away, and I don't know if anybody has that problem. That hey, as you meet somebody, you're like, oh yeah, I met such and such, but I didn't get any information from them, or I didn't connect with them right there. So if you kind of look at the process that you want to take and what you really want to grow, what kind of business do you really want? The biggest thing is that, as you're creating your business, there's a lot of things that, you'll have to clean up, and you'll have to, it's like, I did this wrong, or I did that wrong. And we should on ourselves, I should have this, I should have done that. But in reality, it's just a learning process. If you think about, going to that brand new job, if you had it, that when you're a teenager, or, in your 20s, you're not going to do everything right. Well, the same thing with process with coaching is that at the beginning, even if you're really linking arms with your mentor, you're not going to do everything right, and we're not expecting you to. I mean, this is a learning process for everybody, but we do it as a team, and we do it as the understanding that as we develop and as we grow as a team, then everybody grows. So, we really, that's why, as we support each other and guide each other through the process, just like Carolyn was saying, Unite to Wellness, which is huge. I mean, there's a lot of people, making a big difference in their health, and what an accomplishment for those individuals that are, just getting on there and just talking about different things and maybe asking different questions. Coach2health's the same thing. Now, of course, that's for coaches, but if we look at, as we're going through this process, what do you really want to create? You can do the mentor, you can link arms with your mentor, but what do you really want to create? What do you, if we look at April, we're at the, today I think we're the 13th or 14th? I think we're the 14th today. We got half the month. So what are you going to do with the rest of half the month? And what are you going to create in that understanding of how many people you're going to reach? What are you wanting to, as we get towards summer and as conventions coming up in July, all these things that you're wanting to do, like, I'd like to take my kids here, or I'd like to do this. And how much time are you really putting in your business? If you're putting 2, 3, 4 hours a week in your health coach business, it's not going to really grow. But if you really link arms with a mentor and you're, hey, you know what? Let's do 4 or 5 Zoom practice partner calls this week. I always call them practice partner calls, even if the coach has been around 3 or 4 years, because that way it really takes the pressure off that individual you're talking with. Hey, I'm a coach. Could you do a practice partner call with me? So instead of putting the focus on them, there's not as much pressure. People aren't really just like, I don't know if I could do that or not. So practice means practice, right? We're always practice. We're in practice all the time. But stuff organically happens because you do practice. So I think there's some really good things to be said about that. Brian, you got anything else to kind of end this?
I kind of lost you there, and then you took over. My phone cut out on me. But no, I think you're right, Troy. And we never stop practicing. We never stop learning. It is about the journey. It's not the destination. And if we don't get connected and stay connected, we will fall apart. All of us. I don't care who you are. You think you're that strong? I don't think so. I go through. I've seen so many people over the last 14 years that have come and gone, and then come back, and then gone, and then come back. And this is either talking about the program or the business. It's very interesting to me how close people get to success and just decide not to do it. Mm-hmm. It's just so interesting to me. It's being persistent, and it's also staying connected and staying involved. And I think one thing about the boot camps and these Zoom calls, the Facebook messages, the practice partner calls like you were talking about, Troy, the client story calls, the meet and greets, things like that. It's just all it is staying connected. And if you stay connected, you're what? You're more active. You're more active in what you're doing. So it's just like with Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever, it's a 12-step program. If you're not paying it forward, if you're not staying engaged, you're going to slide back, just like what was talked about in the first call here. I mean, you're going to slide back. Yeah, people, and this is the other thing. People think they can do it on their own. They can't. You cannot do it on your own long term. You need to be connected to your mentor, to the trainings, to whatever you qualify going to. I love it when I hear people say, "Well, I've already heard that before." That's the point. The point is, if you're the only way to stay engaged and involved is by hearing things over and over again. You have to have that repetition in your life. If you don't have that repetition, you start sliding. You start going in a different direction, and you also need new training as well. But most of it is really just about being connected and staying plugged in.
Can I say something, Brian, to that, please?
Yes.
Because I don't think you realize you know how important it is, but maybe people out there don't realize it. When I started down the journey of coaching, I thought I could do it all myself. I really did. Like most people, strong people do, right? I got this.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I fell all the way down into a big hole, which is really a great thing to have happen to you, Al. I'm going to tell you that I realized, and I fought Troy a lot on the three-way calls for a while. I'm like, hey, I already know I mentor people all the time. And it really got me to realize that how quickly and how easily it is to fall into old patterns if you aren't connected. Because it's not just about the community, but it's about staying on the path with the community and not straying from the things that don't work and focusing on what really does work with your time and energy that keeps you in momentum. And when you said that to me at Sundance, you remember we were outside the restaurant and I was asking you, how in the hell do you get back from this hole? And you said, just stay connected. As soon as I started getting back on the leadership call, back on the Zooms, back connected to my clients, connected to the coaches, that's when I realized it's not just about my life as a coach, but it's my own health journey. It's all round up in one. It is so vitally important because it's so easy to fall off. And then, my mom used to say, you take a plane from Seattle to Miami, and if you're off 1 degree, you'll end up in Cuba by the time you get there.
Yep.
That's
so true.
It's true. And I was in Cuba because I just gone off that 1 degree. So I just wanted to say again, thank you, and how important what you're saying is.
Yeah. And it's so true, Caroline. I mean, if you look at anybody that has been, and it could be with this business or whatever. I mean, whatever they're doing, I don't know. But if you look at people that just veer off just a little bit, and decide, I really don't need that. It's not just for ourselves either. Like, I mean, staying and plugged in. That's why it's good for your clients, your coaches. It's good for everybody to plug into what they have available to them. So there's more support there for them. That's why people are growing at rapid rates over the last year, because they've had everybody connected. It's not just one person. See, it's interesting because, you may be able to do something well. And so you think, well, I've got this, but you're never a prophet in your own home. No. That's with your clients. That's with your coaches. People know you. They trust you and all that. But they need that second. They need someone else to say it. And it can be the exact same things that you say, but somebody else could say it just a little bit different. And you'll go, oh, I've been telling you that forever. But that's
what happened with Troy. I mean, he said something I said it 100, and we all experienced that. And don't you think that one of the greatest things that's happened over the last year is the whole, the leaders, the alacrity, and getting together and doing the team coaching and getting an actual systematic approach set up? I think that's going to change everything about where this company goes.
And you're right. It actually is changing everything. Most people don't see it right exactly now. If you remember what Doug Wood said, he said that it took about 2 months before he started to see some big changes in his business. Mm-hmm. And he quadrupled his business in 1 year because of these. Mm-hmm. Not just because of the boot camps, but because of what they were teaching people to stay connected to their mentorship team, to get their clients on the phone with their coach and do these client story calls, to get new coaches into a meet and greet with their coach so they can meet them. There are so many new coaches that I have not met, and I guarantee most of them that I have not met that are in my immediate group are not doing the business because they don't feel like they have any support. It may be just one person that's saying, okay, I got you, I can help you, but that extra layer of support is what does it. So you have to utilize what's available to you. And it's so interesting because I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess it could be oh, I got this, or it could be ego, it could be whatever it is, but don't let that be you. Get connected, stay connected, get your people connected, stay connected, and make sure, look, not everybody's going to do it. There's the law of thirds. Third are going to do it, probably do it more on their own. I mean, they're still, if they're smart, they're going to get connected to everybody, right? A third of them are going to do it with your help, and a third of them are not even going to do it.
But those numbers haven't changed. I mean,
they don't change.
That's human nature. But
exactly.
Like if you look at, just as an example, and I know it's not with coaching, but it's with the client relationship. Look what's happened to Unite to Wellness just in the last 2 months.
About 6 months, actually.
But I mean, especially the last 2 to 3 months. It's just, I mean, that whole page has have a life of its own now. And remember, 6 months ago, we were all right, come on, everyone, post. And I go on there now and I'm like, wow, this is terrific. Everyone's post. It's a whole vibrant community of people now with over almost 1,100 members. And we started with 200 6 months ago?
Yeah.
No, so this is very important to understand too, and that is there's always a delay. Like what Doug Wood was saying, there's a delay. You have to give it some time, but you have to stay connected. The other thing too that Terry told me recently, she said, most of the people that went executive, they said about half of the senior coaches went executive that went through these boot camps, but most of them went executive after their second boot camp. Their second boot camp, not the first one. Same with FIBCs. Executives going as fully integrated business coaches.
And Brian, I think the reason why that happens is because, information, us as humans, we're only going to, absorb so much. We can watch it 1, 2, 3 times, and we still might get only 50% of it. So, that's just part of human nature of, we're not, we can only absorb so much. But, the point being is that as we look at what you want to create in your business, that's why, third-party credibility is so important, because having those extra set of eyes and ears really help you validate what's going on in your business and what the direction it's going, and the people you're connecting with, and what kind of people are they, and who, there's so many different equations on, as we look at that person as, becoming a coach, and as they hit a coach level, and then they start, building clients, who are they bringing in? What's the, what are the people that they're bringing in? I mean, there's so many different variables.
Well, and Troy, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I want to mention, that is I got on I don't know if she's on the line, but I got on a call with someone that really hasn't done too many client story calls or anything like that with me. And she was kind of not engaged for probably 6 months and got back engaged with the boot camps. And she got me on a call with somebody that she had on the program that lost like 60 pounds, a guy on the program. And he had been on the program since the beginning of the year. And it was interesting because first thing I did was, okay, let me hear a little bit about yourself. And we started talking about things. And I told him a little bit about me. Then I painted a picture of what was possible for him. And he got signed up as a coach that night. And she was like ecstatic. She goes, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I know I mentioned the coaching opportunity to him. See, I mean, we got to get connected. We got to connect our clients too. If we do this, if we do exactly what we've been talking about the last 30 minutes, if you do this, you're going to see some growth in your business. You're going to see some growth in your business. You're going to be more excited about your business. You're going to be probably talking to more people because you're more excited, right? If you're not excited, it's kind of hard to get going. But it's more exciting when you're connected than when you're not. So anyway, well, Troy, I got to get another call here. I've actually got to follow up with somebody that I talked to a few weeks ago that wanted to get on plan and become a coach that has not done so yet, and he's in California, so it's an hour early, so I'm going to call him. So anyway,
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for everybody for staying on, and everybody have a great evening, and we'll see you all next Thursday.
Thanks for all your comments too.
All right. Thank you.
Stuff.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.